the kids, when they started, were, I wouldn't say troubled by any means. I wouldn't say they were great kids either. I would say average. And we started talking about sports devotional quotes, and this is at a public school, so I didn't involve any type of religion pushing or anything like that. I involved what it was. It was moments in sports that were inspirational, that provided insight, provided a wow factor. And I read those before games. I read those sometimes after practice, not all the time, but some. And at the very end of the season, we played against a team that was by far more talented than us. And it was in the tournament, and it was actually we made it to, I think, the semifinals, and we were playing them back and forth, and it was a battle because I had a kid go home sick, so I believe we had 6 players. And, of course, they had, I think, about 9 or 10, so they could sub in pretty easily and get us kind of winded. But, we did everything we could. We changed defenses every time down the court. We went from a 1-3-1 to a 2-3 to a man-to-man, confused them. We pushed the ball. We hit some shots we probably shouldn't have made. Things were bouncing our way, no pun intended. And it was remarkable to see that, you're flashing back in your mind. You've probably done this, Doug, from the very beginning of the season, and you're like, wow, how did we get here? And obviously all those goals that you had made with those players. But it's just so fulfilling to see those things happen. And at the very end of the game, we lost. We lost by, I think, 4. Very close game. We get into the locker room. I sit down on the floor with them. Some of them pretty upset. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure anyone wanted to play basketball at the beginning of the season on this team, and they were just kind of do it just to do it. And they thought it was going to be some kind of rec league because not many of them played competitively before. So, they were a little upset. I obviously was, because I don't want a season to end without winning the last game. And we talked about a lot of things, and kids brought up points. We learned way more than this loss, and it almost brought tears to my eyes because these kids were so rough-edged, per se, at the very beginning, and now they're coming to be this type of person, and to walk out of the locker room with them as a team, because that's what they started to do once we started molding to that team that we wanted to be. The parents were clapping when we walked out. It was like a standing ovation almost from our parents, of course, and the other team's parents were like, what? They just lost. Why are they clapping? What, did they not get to score? And it was much more than that. And it kind of summed up what – go ahead. I'm sorry.
That goes back – I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. That goes back to what we originally talked about. Right. You teach those life lessons, and that were passed on to you from, I'm sure, with your various athletic background, you've had several coaches that were big influences, on your life. And I would venture to say to this day, those kids remember you in that season, even though you won 3 games, because of, the improvement they showed, the togetherness. Like, I bet it's a big memory for them. And that I think that's what coaching is in a nutshell, really. I know a lot of people just base it off championships, and, they won't say this guy was the greatest of all time because of this or this or this that they won. But I think that the more lives you impact through coaching is really what a true coach is. That's their goal. To give that passion for the game, to have a team come together, to do all those things. I think that's what a true coach is. And I think sometimes people lose sight of that. But, with your story right there, that pretty much, I actually could picture that, what you're saying, because, I've been in those situations where you see a group come together that weren't expected to do much and, grow and become, a team. And that's I think that's very important. I think a lot of coaches need to realize that it's very important to have those moments and to pass them along. And maybe some kid on that team or a team they're coaching, 10 or 15 years down the line will do the same with another young group of people because of that situation. And that's how you keep passing this tradition down. So, that's an awesome story.
And it surely was a great feeling, and kind of finalize that story, that long story. We have a banquet for the whole middle school winter sports program, and as I'm kind of walking up to the stage to kind of talk about my team briefly and to give out this award that we give out, or we had given out previous years, and a parent stops me and says, "Hey, I just wanted to thank you for this year, and I don't think you realize what you've done." And I said, "Well, ma'am, we won 3 games. Well, I think we made strides as people, and I thought our team got a lot better. So I hope my job was to get them excited about basketball, win some games, keep everyone involved, and then push them on to the 9th grade level, freshman level, and hopefully they all play and excel even more." And she's like, no, I don't think you understand. And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" And she said, those sports devotional quotes that you were talking about, those stories that you were giving them, actually pushed them even further along with her faith, which that wasn't my intention. And I said, "Okay." And she said that 3 of the, I think 7 kids started going to church and actually asked their parents, "Hey, can we go and try this out?" And at that point, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm getting ready to walk up in front of a couple hundred people and talk about some kids and have this speech ready, and I'm ready to go. And this comes on, I'm just like, I'm this floored. And that's the first thing I had to mention because I couldn't get out of my head, and I want to say it quicker than the time that I was given. So, yes, if any coach has that type of impact like Doug and myself and coaches I've had on previously, I've all had that same situation, if not better. And it's a great, great feeling. And that's what, just to kind of reiterate what Doug said, that is what you want as a coach. And as a player, that's what you want. Of course, a parent would want that as well. So very, very good things come when you give life lessons to your players and athletes. So, anyway, so Doug, I just wanted to say thank you for coming on and giving us great insight, and hopefully we can have you on again sometime. And again, thanks again, and great stuff. And hopefully those listeners out there are taking some notes on what you had to say, and maybe some on the side from what I had to say, hopefully. But good stuff, Doug, and thanks again.
Oh, no problem, Josh. Anytime, buddy. I really appreciate you having me on. And love what you're doing here. I really think, coaches search for any and all outlets to find new material or find ways to do things. And so I think what you're doing here is very positive, and you're doing a really good job. So
I appreciate it.
Anytime you need me, man.
Go ahead.
Oh, anytime you need me, man, just let me know.
Absolutely. Without a doubt. Thanks again, Doug. And just a reminder to all the listeners out there, check out our website, thegruelingtruth.net. You can find us on Stitcher, Spreaker, Google Music now, and, of course, iTunes, and use the search phrase Grueling Truth. To all our listeners out there, you can listen to those anytime you'd like. For my guest, Doug Marcum, this is your host for The Real Deal, Josh Benjamin. Thanks for listening to The Real Deal on The Grueling Truth. Until next time, be real with what you say.